This is Snow from Rogue Cannon, and I'm here with another patch notes video, this time confirming the patch notes that Blizzard had put up before, about 1.1.2. I honestly didn't think the patch would come out this early. They said somewhere before December. I guess this is before December, but it's quite a bit before December. So there's a lot that went on in this patch, a lot of balance changes and actual bug fixes. I'll start here with the general fixes. Players will no longer receive achievement toasts while their status is set to busy. Basically, it's confirming that setting to busy is basically like saying fuck off. The messaging when attempting to load a saved game or replay from a previous version has been clarified. I'm not really sure exactly what that means, so obviously it wasn't a huge problem for me, but they've adjusted the amount of points earned and lost by random team participants to properly reflect the strength of a player's teammates. I don't do random matchmaking. I always do fixed teams, but I assume there was some sort of improper ratio going on there with how many points you were getting. So, on to the balance changes for Protoss. The Nexus has received increased life. It's gone from 750 to 1000. Now that's a pretty significant buff on the health there. I personally think it was needed because as a Protoss player I find that drops can just too easily snipe your Nexus, like with a bunch of stimmed Marauders or something like that. So this gives it a little bit more survivability. Since the Nexus is stationary and can't be upgraded or anything like that, it really does need the health and the shields. So the Void Ray, people are saying that this is a nerf, a huge nerf. It's kind of a buff nerf. Damage level 1 is increased from 5 to 6 plus 4 armored, and damage level 2 has been decreased from 10 plus 15 armored to 8 plus 8. So basically what that means is the Void Ray is less effective when it's charged. And honestly, it was pretty retarded when it was charged. It could, like, 3 fully charged Void Rays could one-shot, like, an army one by one. It was just ridiculous. So it no longer does that, but instead, it's more solid of a unit when it's not charged. So they're kind of better just to have a couple of them. I'm still not sure how it's going to affect gameplay too much, but you're not going to need to keep them alive as long for them to deal damage, especially against armored units. And also their upgrade bonus was decreased from 1.125 to 0.703. Nobody really gets that upgrade anyway, so I don't think that's too huge. On to Terran. Buildings. The barracks requirement has been changed from the command center to the supply depot. Now, it's not as huge as people think, but it's still pretty big, and it's actually pretty risky that Blizzard actually tried that. And in response to the supply depot being a bigger target now, they've increased its life from 350 to 400. So basically what that's going to mean is any of those proxy barracks things that you were seeing a lot in high-level play, or even in lower-level play too, that's going to be much weaker now. It's going to be a lot later. Which it should be, honestly, because as a Protoss, if you want to do a proxy, you have to have a pylon outside their base and do all this stupid shit. And so it kind of evens up the early game a little bit there. I think it's going to make a huge change in higher level play. Now the medevac, I'm not too sure about this one. Acceleration reduced from 2.315 to 2.25. I'm not sure how they word acceleration, whether or not that's actually making it accelerate faster or slower, but their speed has also been reduced from 275 to 205, so that's definitely making it slower. I don't personally see any big change there, except for maybe drops will be harder to escape with. I'm not sure. And now the Reaper has been nerfed into the ground lately, and it's now that you can't do the proxy barracks as easy. Their rush ability's gone. But Nitro Pack's speed upgrade now has a factory requirement. Basically, that means that you're going to be forced to go into mech a little bit more if you want to upgrade your barracks units. I don't think that's a bad thing. I do think Reapers had a time and place in the match where they were too good. I'm not sure if it's before you get a factory. I know a lot of people think the Reapers really suck, and in a lot of cases they can, but put in the hands of a really good player with really good timing, they can do substantial damage. So I don't know. I don't know if Reapers need to be nerfed this much into the ground, but for 2v2 and 3v3 they definitely do, but the game is normally bounced around 1v1. So onto the Thor here. The energy bar has been removed, and the 250mm strike cannons is now a cooldown based on a 50-second cooldown. Ability starts with the cooldown available. Usable immediately after the upgrade is researched. Now, I'm not sure how big of a change this is because I don't play Terran and I don't know how effective the 250 strike cannons are, but you know, I'm not really too sure about that one. You'll have to leave a comment or some feedback or something and tell me what you think about that one, because like I said, I've rarely ever even controlled a Thor. So on to Zerg here. Their buildings have all received huge health buffs here. The hatchery, the lair, the spawning pool, the spire, the Ultralisk cavern. Basically, their main tech paths are they're all much more protected and harder to snipe. I've also just been informed here that the fact that they don't have an energy bar will remove the effectiveness of feedback. So, yeah, I wasn't thinking. As a Protest player, I should have known that. I'm stupid. Okay, so the Corruptor has also had its energy bar removed, which also affects feedback. Corruption is now cooldown based on a 45-second cooldown. Ability start with cooldown expired. Must wait a full 45-second cycle before usable. So unlike the Thor, you have to wait to use Corruption. Infester, fungal growth now prevents blink. Now I'm not sure if Zerg players were asking for that, but I know that in a lot of high-level play, blink stalkers, they can tend to be very hard to deal with, especially since fungal growth couldn't stop them, so you could never actually just root them in place and get rid of them. So that's pretty good for Zerg. Also, the Roach range increased from 3 to 4. That is a huge change, actually, because that's going to give them a lot more strength in the early to mid game, which is good because I think Zerg is really weak and preps too heavily macro-based. So that's definitely good. So all in all, this patch is very designed toward fixing the problems Zerg were having. Perhaps, you know, a lot of nerfs on Terran, but if Blizzard's doing it, there's definitely a reason for it. So I don't think any low-tier players should be complaining too much about that. But the bug fixes here fixed an issue where players could not cast feedback on point defense drones. I had never actually run across that. I don't think I've ever tried, actually. Fixed an issue where the Phoenix would continue to channel Graviton Beam after the target died. That was just retarded. I'm glad they fixed that. Fixed an issue that would cause larvae to spawn and be hidden behind Zerg eggs. That just sounds nasty. I'm glad that never happened to me. Fixed an issue where players were unable to navigate to the single-player page or watch replays after canceling map downloads from a queue. Again, I've never run into that, but it's a bug fix, so I'm glad it's gone. And fixed a desync that could occur on user-created maps with custom mod dependencies. I'm not sure about that one either, so a lot of these bugs I haven't come across, but it's nice to see bug fixes. So 1.1.2, like I said, it came a lot earlier than I think we expected. A lot of nerfs, a lot of changes. I don't think the Void Ray thing's a nerf. I think it's just a switch in its power. It's a little bit more powerful against armored units before it's charged. So I don't know, that's up to you guys. So if you've got any feedback, again, I'm sorry the patch has been out for like a full day now and I'm just getting this video up. But leave your feedback, leave your comments on what you think about this patch. I'd love to know you guys' opinions. The last video I uploaded had tons of comments on it, tons of conversation, and that's great. That's what I want to see. So thanks for watching the video, and check out more. We've uploaded a couple more videos, and we've got a Medal of Honor review, so if you're interested in that, go check that out. And have a good night.